Mr. Adrian is not alone in having some appetizers, I suppose.
Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's the one and only, your girl, the cartoon hotspot, and in today's video I'm going to be analysing the episode Werepapas. And this episode was actually pretty good. I very much enjoyed watching it. If you're interested in my thoughts, then stick around, give this video a thumbs up, and click that bell button for post notifications. Without further ado, let's get into this video. So the episode begins with a flashback of young Adrian and his mother Emily. And can I just say, thank God, it's about time Miraculous start utilizing flashbacks. Not sure why we didn't get much of those in the first arc, but hey, better late than never, I suppose. Anyways, in the flashback, Emily is talking about her parents, whom Adrian questions why he never sees. She explains that her parents live far away and that they simply are not good people, who don't love her as much as they love other things. Basically the opposite of what a parent should be. You know, to love your child unconditionally. And this prompts Adrian to ask whether his father, Gabriel Agreste, loves him, seeing as he's never around. But Emily quickly assures him that Gabriel is traveling around the world with Natalie to find a cure for her to get better. And this scene absolutely broke my heart, but I'll talk about this in depth later on. Flash forward to present day, where Adrian, and I'm going to assume that he's looking at his father's study, which is basically covered up. Natalie asks if he's alright and he hugs her immediately while she struggles to return his embrace. She then gets an ominous call, which we find out is from Adrian's maternal grandparents who want to see him. We cut to Marinette's house where she's having lunch with her family, and they question when Marinette is officially going to introduce Adrian as her boyfriend. They encourage her to invite him over for lunch on Sunday, but shout out to Sabine for being the only normal one in that family, reassuring Marinette that since it's her first relationship, RIP Luca, she should move at her own pace, and that it's really up to her to invite Adrian over. Marinette runs up to her room to call Adrian and invite him, but he begrudgingly tells her that he won't be available as his grandparents are flying in that same day. Marinette assumes that should be an exciting event, but Adrian sadly tells her that his mum's parents, according to Emily, seem to be nasty people, whereas he's never even met his dad's parents, as Gabriel never spoke of them. Marinette, sensing how dreaded Adrian feels about this entire thing, offers to be present at his house to support him. Natalie agrees to Marinette's plan, and she dresses up as a waitress because apparently Lord Graham, Adrian's grandpa, is very picky about these sort of things, and only family and wait staff are allowed to be present. Natalie tells the two teenagers that she's counting on them, as she won't be there, seeing as she isn't family and can never replace Adrian's mum, even though she practically is his mum at this point. Anyways, Emile and Millie, sure, arrive, and automatically this guy sucks. I do not like this guy. Not even within 1 minute of his arrival, he basically manages to insult his grandson, whom he just met, mind you, by calling him a half-decent boy, and then instructing him to address him as Lord Graham. I mean, hello, how are you? How are you doing, grandson? Pleasure to meet you would have sufficed. Geez, manners much? Then Adrian's paternal grandparents arrive, and these guys, they're pretty chill, okay? They're actually pretty cool. And judging from their interaction, it seems like they genuinely wanted to meet Adrian, but Gabriel, for some reason, cut them out of his life. He's just never beaten the terrible father allegations, am I right? So you mean to tell me Gabriel came from a humble background with loving parents, became rich, and then basically said F you and cut contact with them? Just awful. Remember your roots, Gaby Poo. Remember your roots. So the lunch begins, and Graham clearly does not know what an icebreaker is, because he just jumps straight into asking who will take custody of Adrian now that both of his parents are, you know, dead. And Marinette retorts and claims that Adrian isn't alone, and Adrian adds that he has Natalie, to which Graham responds by saying,
"She's an employee, not family.
She has no legal right to care for you, unlike us."
Millie tries to defuse the situation, but she's instantly told to shut up and keep her useless opinions to herself. Yikes. So we can all agree that she's definitely being, well, at the very least, verbally abused by this guy, and has probably been throughout their entire marriage.
Divorce, babe, divorce.
Get rid of him, okay? You can do so much better than this dude who basically looks like he snuck his way on Earth. Okay, I mean, look at him, like, ew. Graham then demands Adrian to hand over the twin rings, and Marinette panics because she's the only one in the room to actually know what's contained inside the twin rings. The two grandfathers argue over who should take custody of Adrian, and Graham is basically being a classist towards the Grissettes. At this point, Millie is absolutely fed up of it all. The bossing around, the yelling, the patriarchy, really, and she just snaps. She just starts crashing out. She gets a hold of the rings, and that leads to her akumatization. Again, I just love the process of how Lila akumatizes her victims by validating their emotions, telling them what they want to hear, and then offering them a way out. Millie becomes ringmaster, and honestly, this outfit, it slaps. It's cunt, okay? It's so cunty. It's probably one of my favorite akumatized villain outfits, to be honest. Sadly, I can't say the same about the actual battle, which kind of pales in comparison to the rest of the episode. It was just kind of meh. Ringmaster turns Graham and Johnny Grissett into ring fighters and then traps Adrian in a golden trophy. I guess it's a literal metaphor for Adrian being the prize, which obviously means Adrian wouldn't be able to transform, as it would instantly reveal to Lila and his family and Marinette that he's Cat Noir. So I guess it's up to Ladybug to save the day whilst Adrian sits this one out. Yet again. You know what? I shouldn't even be surprised, okay? I'm not surprised. We get a transformation sequence for the first time in this animation. Some parts were a bit iffy, but I can let that slide because I miss seeing the transformation sequences and hearing the music, okay? It's the nostalgia for me. It's the nostalgia. Can you blame me? No. Blah, blah, blah. The battle takes place. Not really interested in this part, as I said earlier on. So let's cut to where Ladybug gets a hold of the twin rings and hesitates to break it as it contains the amok. And so breaking the rings would essentially, well, assumingly, you know, kill Adrian. She decides to do it anyways. Well, she doesn't really have much of a choice here. And luckily, only the Ultra Kuma comes out. And before any of you ask me, no, I have no idea what's going on here, okay? I stopped paying attention to the Centibeing storyline a long time ago. The whole storyline is filled with inconsistencies and they're just not worth my headache, okay? By all means, I am interested to see your comments and your theories. Like, where is the amok? Is that even the real ring? Does Felix or Natalie possess the real ring? Let me know. Back at the Agrest mansion, Millie hands the rings back to Adrian and states that he should be the one to decide who and where to stay with. Though Adrian is still pretty conflicted, which prompts Marinette to drag Natalie and basically advise her that because she's an adult, and more importantly, the one who's been taking care of Adrian since the day he was born, she's his family. Adrian then hugs Natalie and tells her that his life is in Paris with Marinette and Natalie. A cute heartfelt scene which elicits tears from the gorilla. Love the gorilla. Stan the gorilla. So the agreement is that Adrian will continue to live in Paris but visit his grandparents during the holidays in order to get to know them and build a relationship with them. The final scene of this episode is another flashback where this time Adrian is a tiny bit older but still relatively young, waiting for his father and Natalie to arrive home. Upon their arrival, Gabriel gives Adrian the cold shoulder and barely acknowledges him, whilst Natalie stops and comforts him, in which we see Emily in her wheelchair smiling because she knows that she may not have much time left, but at least she can count on Natalie to look after Adrian when she's gone. And that's just tragic, guys. But I want to touch upon this scene specifically. We may chalk it down to Gabriel always being a terrible parent, but I think it's deeper than that. Like, there are layers to this. Gabriel was so caught up in trying to find a cure for Emily that he was barely around for Adrian's childhood. He missed out on the most important moments. He never really got the chance to bond with his son because he was always traveling. And when Emily eventually died, he was left with a boy who essentially felt like a stranger to him. So obviously he didn't know any other way to parent. So he did the one thing he was used to doing. The one thing that was basically second nature to him. He kept his distance. I'm not excusing Gabriel by any means. I'm just simply saying it kind of makes sense why he put up a wall between him and Adrian all of these years. He wasn't there to raise Adrian when he was a baby and a toddler, so he practically didn't have a relationship with his son. All that mattered to him was bringing Emily back. Emily was always Gabriel's goal, and that never changed even when she died. Thus, he abandoned the one person who needed him the most, his son. Adrian lost both of his parents the day Emily died. But I guess you could say he never really had both parents to begin with.
I don't want to cry.
Well, that was a depressing way to end this video. Overall, I really enjoyed this episode. I'm always hyped for episodes centering Adrian Agrest and his family. But as always, now I want to put it to you guys. What did you think of the episode Werepapas? Loved it? hated it? Let me know down in the comment section below. But as for today, that's it from me, and I'll see you again next time.